awaiting an imminent death in 7 days, Shukdev Goswami is glorifying that you have come here to make your life glorious, and through these discussions you are making mankind evolve to the depths of understanding, and to make all those who get into the discussion of this, their lives glorious in the true sense. When I first read this verse, it caught my attention in that sense, not more from the discussion point, but this point. There is a discussion of making your life glorious at the point of death, which nobody is interested. They think that now I'm old, I'm now useless. Most of us feel like that. बोलते हैं अभी कोई मुझे पूछता ही नहीं है. If you just understand the Bhagavad perspective, you have an opportunity to make your life glorious. Why? Because once you have crossed a certain middle age, you no longer have the social responsibilities. Even people don't expect too much from you like they expect in the younger days. They let go of things. They have adjusted with your personality in whichever way you are. You have that opportunity, that leverage, that freedom to use that fully engrossed in the aspects of the truth. Why one should do that? Because if you don't do this, then the mind will only learn to take shelter of things and situations which are not worthy. So, yesterday we were discussing a similar situation which happened in the life of king of elephants, Gajendra. And he was caught. And when he was caught in that condition, in the grave condition under the water by the crocodile, his wives wanted to help him in some manner. Initially they tried to pull, but they could not pull. So they went out of the water near the banks, and they were just watching the one who had provided, their provider, getting humiliated. Imagine, we have seen in families also, when you grow up seeing some of your uncles who were very strong within the family and holding the whole family together, and when their time of death comes and they become very vulnerable, it's not a very good sight to watch, because you are used to seeing them as a hero, and then you see them vulnerable, who are like losing the grip over everything, and then recognizing that nobody can help. So Gajendra goes through these things, and he starts seeing the futility of the relationships. Not denying that relationships are not essential, but just putting them in perspective. There must always be a proportion to everything, of all our indulgences, pleasures, pains, affections, and so on. So what he sees, that all these people with great amount of pride, when I provided to my kingdom, none of that is now coming to my rescue at all in this difficult situation. So similar discussion also comes within the Bhagavatam, the early discussions where Shukdev and Parikshit are discussing that one's own body, one's own mind, one's own spouses, one's own children, all of them are considered to be asat sena. Deha patya karatradishu atma senyeshu asat swapi. Sena means an army. Now, if you have a Sena, what is that Sena supposed to do? Support, protect, give you a sense of security. Sena may not, you are not always seeing the Sena fight, but when you have a good Sena, you have a sense of security. So, Deha, one's own, a healthy body and healthy mind is considered one of the soldier. It gives you a sense of security. When you are sick, you feel, oh, I'm weak, I cannot do this, right? Your spouses, people are, to lead the journey of life alone is a very big challenge, it's difficult. So that's why people get married. Even though people want to deny the institution of marriage, still they want partners. Why is that? Because to carry on the journey of life, it's not about a soldier who is going to physically secure you. It's just that emotional security. That I have someone to, when I go to my home, I have someone waiting. I can talk to someone. The biggest of the people, they just want that. I travel to Southeast Asian countries and I see so many Europeans, they hire partners for their 6 days of tour. And these are not just partners for the night. They are like whole day and night they should be there. Why? Because they are all alone by themselves. They don't want to go in their workplaces or evening after the work. They want to sit in the restaurant, hotel, whatever. They need somebody just to talk. Such a big industry. Just to talk. I'm not talking on the illicit side of things. In New York also, there are industries like that. Just to talk. I'm available to sit with you evening in the restaurant. $50, $100 per hour, whatever. Drinks, eating, all extra. I will just come 3 hours for you in the restaurant. I'll sit with you. Interesting, right? It shows the urge and the need of humans to cohabitate. You cannot be alone. And that provides a sense of security. That is what is called as Sena. Deha, Apatya, Kalatra, spouse, children. Everyone wants to do this. Every species wants to do this. And they create a Sena, which is supposed to be providing them security. But at some point of time, everyone comes to this point and it fails, the limit of security fails. And when that happens, that's why Bhagavatam is saying, these are Atma Senyeshu Asat Swapi. This is Asat Sena. It is a Sena, but it is false Sena. False Sena means it appears to be powerful, but कुछ काम का नहीं है. Reality what? किससे काम? मतलब ठीक है. When you are healthy, then everyone is happy with you. When you have money and you have good health, who does not want to participate? The moment you lose either of that, everybody wants to pull themselves out. Because nobody wants to live with you for 10 years. You are suffering because you served me 50 years of your life you put to make me secure. Now the last 5-10 years I'll just be by your bedside. No, that's not. Because I have important things to do. I have a party, I have a function, I have this marriage, So Asat Sena, when a person goes through that, you realize the futility. Shukdev Goswami is saying these are Asat. Tesham api nidhanam pashyan api na pashyati. And the interesting part is everyone is seeing this happening to others. But they never learn. Somehow. We are discussing this, all of you, those who are relishing Bhagavatam, you must have heard this hundreds of times, but still that urge to repose the consciousness where it has to be, it does not happen automatically. We need kicks, slaps, punches through our experiences of life just to learn certain simple things. In teenage years, people get fascinated with each other in so many different ways. When we were young, those days the relationships were still richer. Even the college kind of relationships, that love was still richer relatively. People would long to meet each other, there was anticipation and so on. Now people will get into the relationship considering that, oh, we can withdraw anytime. The mindset of getting into the relationship is already like that you can withdraw anytime, you cannot ask this, you cannot demand. So automatically it is fundamentally weak, very porous, like a house of wax, something. It does not have that strength. In the intent itself, it is weak. I'm not blaming individuals, the circumstances, everything, whatever it is, the final product is what we call relationship, and the experience which comes out of it. It is always hanging on a something very superficial. And seeing the futility, still people fall for it. One time in our Prerna festivals, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was speaking to a crowd of just youth. And one of the things he mentioned is, even though today relationships are breaking apart, they are weak in so many ways, still love stories sell the most. And love stories are still most captivating. Even mundane love stories are very captivating. They put a smile on the face. Oh, these people like each other. Oh, is it? It puts a smile. Unfortunately, these times, it has happened so much that when I meet so many youngsters, most of my time, I am not part of their celebrating days. I am part of their misery days. Because they come to me when their relationships are broken. They are crying. So one such person, he fell in kind of love with someone. And he told Prabhu, I want to tell you something. I am now dating so-and-so person, and we are going to plan to settle soon. So I said, okay, very nice. Relationship going on well. But make sure you at least finish your studies nicely and other things well. It was just a very simple advice. He said, yes, Prabhu. By Krishna's mercy, I've got everything else. I don't need anything else. The glow on his face was so amazing. The energy which he carried was so nice. After a few days, about 2-3 weeks, he came and he called me and said, Prabhu, I want to speak with you. And he was very low. He just asked me, how are you, Prabhu? I said, fine. I was thinking, come to the main point. You did not come here to ask me how I am. Earlier you were, Prabhu, how are you? Now it is, how are you, Prabhu? So I told what happened. He said, Bhagavatam is right. I said, what happened? Which lecture you found to me? No, the relations in this world are not worth. Everything is a lie. तो मैंने बोला अरे भाई क्या हुआ इतना सच मत बोलो हमको भी जीवन का थोड़ा मोह है जीने दो. Let us also enjoy. Don't be so. He's like, no, so and so happened that she said that I want to settle with someone. I said it's okay now. When your right time will come. Now you focus on your studies. When your time will come, you'll get some good deal, good relationship. Krishna will arrange something at the right time. Have this faith. Yes, Prabhu. You don't need to convince me anymore. I'm fully convinced. This was like Arjun saying to Krishna, Nashtamoho, Smritir Labdva, मुझे सब ज्ञान आ गया. अभी आप मुझे प्रवचन करो ही मत. बताओ क्या करना है, क्या सेवा करना है. मैं सब समझ गया. I told him only one thing. Prabhu, if you really, really trust me, then block her number. Don't take any text. अरे अभी तो वो फोन करे कुछ भी करे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. अभी मैंने सच्चाई देख ली है. I hope you understand Hindi. I have understood things. I said, okay, you have understood. I understand that you understand, but block the text. Block the number. So he said, why are you insisting for that? I said, because the moment she says, I'm sorry, every knowledge, every discussion, all this, you have spent hours with me. So I spent 3-4 hours 2-3 times. I told all these are going to go waste. I may know so much knowledge, everything, but that one, I'm so sorry. Can we meet? Or even those dots, dot. No words. Unspoken words will create revolution. The silent revolution. So he said, no, Prabhu, it won't happen. Trust me. I told I trust you, but I don't trust your mind. I trust your intent, but I don't trust your mind. Great mistakes have happened with good intentions. In fact, there's a saying in English, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Why? Because we are not aware of the structure of how mind, intelligence, emotion operates, and we just are overconfident in things. So, about 8-10 days, everything was fine. And then one day, after 2-3 weeks later, I see him overexcited, glowing with that energy. And he was not coming towards me. I called him. Tell me how is everything? He said, all is well. The only question I asked him, did you get a text? He said, why? I told him, I'm not interested in why. Did you get a text? He said, no, first I want to tell you what. Did you get a text? Just tell me yes or no. He said, yes, I got the text. I said, okay, now I'm going, I don't have time. He said, no, Prabhu, you need to understand. Actually, it was not her intention like that. She was caught up in this. I told her, I'm not interested in the story. I have led more life. मतलब हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, तुम्हारे से ज़्यादा दिवाली देखी है. बहुत stories देखी. Your story is not going to be any new. And just to honor him, I heard the whole crappy story of what happened. And then I said, okay, Prabhu, next time, if the situation repeats, I am repeating in advance. Block the text. Block the number. And it again repeated. And after about a month, he told me from far, Prabhu, block. I said, yes. That is what is called Pashyan api na pashyati. Despite going through situations like this, despite seeing so many ups and downs happening, because we are so fascinated with material things and we have no spiritual taste whatsoever, you land up repeating the same mistakes again. Pashyan api na pashyati. It's despite seeing. I'm not saying that it's all relationships fail. I'm just speaking about the futility of things. One should do these things timely. Study while you study, love while you love, grow while you grow, work while you do things nicely at right time. Universe, Prakriti gives you ample time for everything. No need to rush through so many different propaganda. So Pashyan api na pashyati. Why pramatto nidhanam? हमको सब समझता है. Exact Bhagavatam verse. Because I know what it is. That extra overconfidence in oneself. It's not coming out of reading of Bhagavatam. Just by yourself, as if you are the Bhagavat. You say, I understand. It's ego, false ego. So when Gajendra sees these things, he realizes that everything is done. Now what should he do? He tries his best fighting. Tato Gajendrasya mano balaujasam kalena dirghena mahan abhudvyayah. This Gajendra, just to save his life, he started fighting that particular situation. And the war or the battle lasted for about 1,000 years. The crocodile in the water and the elephant there. So 1,000, of course, it may not be exactly the earthly years, but in some divine, when you have time zone, time calculation difference relatively, it may be. But 1,000 years it lasted. It was a very long battle. And very interestingly, Gajendra did not give up. It is explained, Tato Gajendrasya mano balaujasam. Through his mind, he fought. Bala. Through his bala, his physical endeavor. We see, it is easiest to fight with the body. But when the body gets tired, if your mind is strong, you can still pull on, right? If you are mentally broken, you cannot even fight with the body. And therefore, very beautifully these words are given. Mana balaujasam. Ojas means, sometimes when you fight, that fight has a vigor which is seen, and sometimes the fight lacks vitality. You must have seen such sports matches, right? You feel, yeah, the game went on, but there was no charm. That is called ojas, the vitality of the battle itself. So, because of this very long fight, Manaha refers here to the enthusiasm of the mind to keep on fighting. Then Bala of the strength, Ajas of the senses. But when the fight went on for what? Kalena Dirghena, for a very, very long time, then Gajendra got tired. Our acharyas refer that Gajendra being caught in the lake, that pond, the muddy pond refers to the clouded mindset. When you are involved in samsara, there are so many things happening, right? So many attachments, love, emotions, this, that, and right, wrong, hundreds of things happening constantly. And sometimes our intelligence gets clouded because you are constantly dealing with it, trying to make sense of it. Like Gajendra is trying to make sense of his whole party. Then the party gets spoiled, but still he's trying to save. He's just doing, we are also exactly doing the same thing. And then our minds and intelligence gets clouded. And then some particular situation or one particular thought can just grab us away in some direction because we are not well rooted to where we are supposed to be. So Gajendra is in such a situation and he gets tired after a long fight, just like a living entity also after a long battle of life. Then at some point he thinks, now what should I do? This is not really working. Rather, even if it has worked, you don't want to relive the battle. How many of you, after having reached, many of you, I think 50, how many of you feel, I wish I go back 20 years ago and restart the birth of my children and all that? Many times you feel it was okay, it was wonderful. No repeat. This is enough. You don't have to restart that. This is what Adi Dirghena Kalena. Whether you win or you lose, whether your life has been glorious or inglorious, whether it has been successful to your own capacity in your own mind, or you are not, you feel you have not been successful, you don't want to repeat that experience. You want to move on, something like that. So Gajendra is thinking, what should I do? But he's still continuing the fight. Prabhupada writes very wonderfully that fighting the battles of samsara is everyone's duty. But one should take up the fight which is suitable to oneself. So the example given here is Gajendra got extremely exhausted in that fight because the fight was underwater and he became hopeless. Why? Because it is not natural for an elephant to fight in waters. Whereas the crocodile who was fighting Gajendra for 1,000 years, he did not get exhausted. Why? Because water is a natural territory for the crocodile. Fight is a reality which we all must have. Struggles of life. But those struggles should be such that it should lead to something wonderful. If the struggle leads to something which is worthless and meaningless, then the whole point of struggle itself is defeated. So all these varnashrams which are explained, you're a brahmachari like a student life, you're a grihastha married life, you're a retired life, and you're completely detached sannyas life. All have their struggles, but one should put oneself in the stage of life which he is in and do the struggle of that stage. So when I am a student, I don't need to struggle for my relationships. Who is going to be my partner? This is going to be my partner. That's not my struggle. My struggle is the study time. When I am in my marriage or job and that particular stage, that's the time I should now fully focus on getting a good life partner and making sense of my life overall, not just having a partner for the sake of partner because I need someone to go along all vacations. No. Let the partner be an active part of the growth of your spiritual journey. Then your struggle becomes authentic. It becomes pure. When you are retired, you have a different set of things you have to focus on. Otherwise, your struggle will become impure. If during the retired phase of life, if my choices are exactly how they were when I was just married and acquiring arthic growth, settling, if those are the choices and those are the preferences, then I have made my struggle impure. So that struggle which is considered pure at the grahastha stage will become impure at the vanaprastha stage if one does the same set of activities. Student, grahastha, vanaprastha, and even at sannyas, whatever stage you are in, do the struggle suitable to the age which you are in and to the circumstances which you have to specifically deal with. Otherwise it becomes impure. You will become like a fatigue of Gajendra, helpless, worthless. He's feeling koi matlab hi nahi. And the crocodile is enjoying. He's feeling satisfied because he is nourished in that particular thing. So when we struggle based on our ashram, the stage of our life, basically, ashram is nothing but the stage of life. When we struggle based on that, that struggle also nourishes us. Just like a very good player, when he's playing a match against a good opponent, he feels nourished even when the battle is very strong. It was a great match. It's a very nourishing experience. So that is a very interesting aspect. The crocodile is nourished, feeling more invigorated because it's in the water, and the elephant is feeling totally malnourished because it is in the water. But yeah, so don't give up the fight. Keep continuing. Even though you feel you may lose. So Gajendra at that point of time, after fighting, when he's losing, he's thinking, what should I do? He loses his physical strength and so on. So nice verse comes. Itham Gajendraha sa yadapa sankatam pranasya dehi vivasho yadrichaya. He becomes vivash. Vivash means absolute feeling of helplessness. You know that you are going to lose the fight, but you cannot stop fighting. That is called vivash. If you give up the fight, then that is not called vivash. Maybe vivash nahi hu, I have given up. Vivash means you are doing a futile battle. The Gajendra thinks like this. And at that point of time, he starts thinking that if I have to anyways lose everything, what should I do then? So Atma Vimoksha Chiram, after a very long time, finally he reached to the following conclusion. What was that conclusion? So first I'll discuss something about vivashta, a sense of helplessness, and how to perform one's duties despite such a thing. Because when we have a helpless situation, the whole sense of doing dharma and duties gets shaken up. Arjuna experienced the same kind of vivashta. Physically strong, but the moment he saw his grandparent and gurus, the very people who taught him, it became so difficult for him. So it is not possible for me to fight. But then Krishna obliged him through the Gita and the message he had to fight. So it was a very difficult fight. For the sake of dharma, he led it. He put dharma as a reference point. Arjuna is a hero in our scriptures not because he fought a great battle. So many people fought a great battle. The match itself was great. Not also because Arjuna was victorious. It was because Arjuna stood at the side of dharma. As far as victory is concerned, Krishna had told in the beginning itself that it doesn't matter whether you lose or win. So Arjuna is a hero for that reason. Another person who had that vivashata, that sense of helplessness during the battlefield on the opposite side, was Bhishma, who said that I know I should not fight, I should not stand with Duryodhan, but still I am vivash. I am feeling obliged. So Bhishma's obligation was towards Hastinapur, Duryodhan, that particular kingdom. Arjun's obligation was towards Dharma. That's the only difference. Sooner or later we all will go through some sense of vivashtata, either through our own struggles in our own ways, dealing with our mind and so on. So it's a reality. When you reach at that point, what should you do? So, what did Gajendra do? That discussion we'll have tomorrow. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions or comments?